Hey, how you doing, Alex?
Oh, I'm doing great as always. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great. I'm glad
Great.
that you're excited about doing the Godfather rewatch, that you're energetic and exercising through this whole entire deal that we're going to be doing tonight.
Hey, this is 24/7 energy right here.
That's what I'm talking about. And hey, Rossie, how are you doing as well?
I'm doing good. Doing great, guys.
All right, awesome. So, before we get into our Godfather rewatch review, I do want to say with the events that happened in Texas, we are deeply saddened by the events that happened. And with that being said, Curtis from Listen, Listen, Listen podcast ended up tweeting out a little fundraiser for the victims out in Texas. And so basically, they raised $3,536,000 and $680. Basically, they winded up almost achieving their goal. So if you want to go on ahead and go to the GoFundMe page, and I'm going to have that in the description of the video and everything at the end. So that way you guys can go on ahead and donate $5 to $10 to the cause, because it's just awesome to be able to see people come together for something so tragic that happened. And it deepens me and wounds me and everything because of the fact I was actually, let's see here, I remember Columbine when I was just a teenager and everything, and afraid that something like that was going to happen at my school. And, and it's just deeply troubling that someone would actually go to those lengths to do that, would actually kill innocent children and also kill teachers in the process of protecting their students. And it saddens me, it deepens me. My thoughts and prayers are with you. I know Alex and Rossie has some thoughts though too before we get started.
Yeah, I'll start. I'll say, as a parent of two young men, I remember when they were in high school and Columbine happened. They were young when Columbine happened, but I remember being afraid to send them to school, period. The Sandy Hook incident as well. So I definitely send love and prayers out to the families, and we have to do better. Mental health, guns, it's just, yeah, it's horrible.
It's just, it's hard to come up with the words, because it just, this happens so often that
Right.
I'm at that point where I can't even feel anything about it, it's just this cycle that keeps happening. And it really hurts because I work, I have nieces and nephews that go to
Right.
school. I work at a school with elementary age students, so I'm just thinking, like, what if it was my kids this happened to, and it's just hard to be like, we just can't do anything anymore without having to work. You can't go to school, you can't go to the grocery store, you can't go to church without that lingering possibility that someone with a gun might come in. And it just really hurts. It just really hurts. And I doubt that anything's going to change because that's just the cycle we're in. But I'm hoping there will be some change soon. So
absolutely.
Most definitely, because here's the thing. I usually try to just post like positive stuff on my Facebook feeds and even on my social medias and everything else regarding movies, making people laugh. But it got to the point for me, as someone that does this, where I have to just stop and just look at what's going on in front of me and be like, look, I can't ignore this anymore and pretend that everything is fine when it's not.
Right.
And that's whenever I realize, hey, look, I need to address something that's so troubling in the world that we live in. It's so crippling, so troubling, and mental health goes a long way. If you guys know this, I am a big advocate with BetterHelp. So if you guys want to, if you guys need goals, and basically what BetterHelp does is it helps set up your goals in life. It helps you. They have counselors on board to help if you need any kind of assistance. So if you go on ahead, go over to my Facebook page at Movie Lovers TV Lovers Night. Over there, there's going to be a pinned post for BetterHelp, and just use the promo code Movie Lovers Unite, and they'll assist you. You can trade out as many counselors as you want until you find the right counselor for you. So if you need some counseling, if you need someone to help you set up some goals, if you just need someone just to vent to, they're there for you. They're not a self-help service or anything like that. They're there to help. So BetterHelp is here for you. So just throwing that out there. But okay, so I know that all we're doing is talking about depressing stuff, but there's another thing too that I wanted to talk about. Ray Liotta, the actor who played in Goodfellas, one of my favorite actors. He also played in Smokin' Aces and then Field of Dreams, has passed away today. And I just love his performance in Goodfellas. And Goodfellas is actually my all-time favorite movie, Martin Scorsese movie, aside from The Departed. But you know, Ray was just in that zone at that time in the 90s. And his performance was just breathtaking.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's a huge talent. Loved him in Goodfellas, Field of Dreams, Departed. Not Departed, but I have to say Goodfellas was my favorite. He's a great actor, and also being able to play him in Grand Theft Auto Vice City was also the best. He did a great performance in that game, and he'll forever live in the world of GTA Vice City. He will be missed.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
R.I.P. R.I.P. Liotta, man. That's just sudden. Just sudden.
It was. I had everyone coming at me, just like, "Hey, did you see this? Did you see that?" I'm like, "Yeah." I had like 5 people inbox me at the same time you did. I'm like, "This is just crazy." But Vice City, I was always hoping that they would actually go back and revisit that character, just to have Ray back. But it sucks that he won't be able to do that. But I'm hoping that they remaster it to where we can buy it again, because I would definitely do that. So, with that being said, let's go ahead. Let's do something happy with this. Okay. So basically, The Godfather is a 1972 American crime film that's actually directed by Francis Ford Coppola, and also Mario Puzoa, who actually wrote the book in 1969, which is a book I actually own. But what I love about this story is the story arc of Michael Corleone, where you wind up having a character who just returns from the war, and he doesn't want to be a part of the family business. And then he goes from not wanting to be in that business to now he has to be in that business.
Right. Yeah. First time watching it, never saw it before. I always obviously knew it was a great film because I've heard about it, but I watched it last night, and I mean, I was glued from the beginning to the end. I didn't want it to go off. Opening with the huge Italian, family wedding, I mean, they make you want to be in their world, just the way they celebrate, the food, the love. It was just, okay, this is going to be a great movie. Seeing Marlon Brando, him play the Godfather, and just, now I'm getting all the jokes, by the way, the horse in the bed, all that. Now I get it. Before I was like, oh, I didn't get it because I never saw it. But now I get all the jokes, all the comedians putting the things in their cheek to sound like Marlon Brando. I really enjoyed the movie. I was shocked, though, just shocked at some of the characters that died. Like, I thought that the Godfather, Marlon Brando, I thought he was going to live through it. So I was shocked when they shot him the first time, and then when he eventually died. But I love this movie, guys.
This is also my first time watching the movie, but I have experience with the story because I played the Godfather video game before.
Yes.
So it was
yes.
Oh, you have to? Okay,
yep.
That was my first introduction to the Godfather. And I remember playing it as a kid and being like, man, this is a good story. And I was getting really excited watching this movie, and like scenes that were just straight ripped out from the movie and put in the game. I'm like, I remember this from the game. This is where this mission starts. So much fun. But yeah, I can't believe I haven't watched this movie sooner, because I immediately fell in love with it. Even with in the beginning, the wedding scene, not a lot was happening in that scene. Like, you know, there wasn't a lot going on, but I was still so invested in it. Like nothing was happening, but a lot was happening at the same time. Just how it's going back and forth between, you know, out in the open, very public wedding, you know, everyone's partying, being friendly and happy, but in the shadows, in this dark room, we have Godfather meeting with all these people. They want these favors done. Marlon Brando was incredible. Like I immediately just like, he gave me goosebumps, his performance. Just the present, like I was afraid. Like he was so kind. Like he's a kind man. But then he would just give out an order, just like, oh yeah, take care of it. And then it's just like, someone's dead. Someone's about to die.
And yeah, the way he does it though is so smooth though. You know, it's like
it's smooth. And he has an adorable kitten that he was petting.
Yes,
looked like he was trying to get away, but he's like, no, I'm petting you now. And, you know, just trying to hold on to that cat. I loved it. And I was just like, I immediately fell in love with it. Especially when he's meeting with the first guy talking about, I want justice for my daughter. And he was like, you're going to come into my house and not even
call me Godfather.
You're not going to offer friendship to me. I was like, as soon as I saw him do this, like I read a meme where it's like, anytime he does this, he feels disrespected. And I was just like, as soon as I saw this, I was like, oh no, what did he even do? What did the guy even do to disrespect him? What happened? So I'm like scared. I'm scared about what's going to happen. But it just immediately caught me. I'm just like, oh my gosh. And they didn't even show nothing yet. It was just people talking, but I'm already like, keep going. I want more of this. Like if the whole movie was just the wedding scene and people asking for favors, I probably would have been fine. But
and the dude, like he's telling them like, hey, you know, like my wife is the godfather or the godmother of your baby. You come and ask me for a favor. You don't even invite me to your house to eat. And you know, so I'm thinking like, oh my God, is this going to be the first scene that someone's going to get whacked? Like, is this guy going to get killed because he's agitated, you know, you're asking for a favor, but you don't even invite me to lunch. Like, you know, so yeah, that scene was a little tense as well. I feel you, Alex, on that, because you're thinking, we know what the Godfather is. We know that there's going to be a lot of, you know, shooting. So is this going to be this guy's going to get whacked for asking for a favor? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But even worse though, he owes Don Corleone a favor, which also you don't know what that favor is. So you can actually kill somebody by taking advantage of them and using them to your advantage because Don Corleone has that much power. So him saying, one day I will come to you. You will do me a favor. You know, and I'm like...
Beautiful line. I loved that line so much. It is just kind of set the tone. I'm like, okay, foreshadowing. We're going to see this guy again. That favor is going to need to come due.
But I want to talk about this, though. You said there's not a lot happening, but also, too, like you said, there's a lot happening. And I like how each character, and Michael's explaining each character, introducing Kate to these people, as he's also introducing us into his world. So in a way, we're actually the guest at that wedding, sitting at Michael's and Kate's table and introducing us. Also, too, we're not just some people that are just watching a film. We are now in that room with a funeral parlor guy asking for a favor, and we're basically the Don Corleone's bodyguards. And could you imagine them being in the same room with him and Tom being there, and that's happening? You can feel the intensity in that room, especially how dark and ominous it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I felt that way through watching a movie. I felt like what you're saying, John. I felt like we were there. Like, you know, we're partaking in this movie. Like, you know, we're part of the family, because there's certain things that happens that you're not expecting to happen. Like I'm jumping ahead. I hope we're just going to jump around and pull parts.
We are. We're not going. Here's the thing. I want to have a good time with this. Yeah.
Okay.
So
jump around. This is a trampoline.
The Sonny part when Sonny gets killed. Didn't you guys, or at least John, you knew, but Alex, didn't you think when Sonny got killed and he leaves out, he's on the phone, he's upset, he leaves out, but you're not expecting anything to happen to Sonny because this is Sonny. So when he goes to the prison, and all of a sudden there's gunshots, and I remember sitting thinking, what the fuck is going on? Who is shooting us? Like, and you see him duck, but I felt like I was a part of that scene because it just blindsided me. Like, we just got shot, and badly shot. Like, they wanted to make sure he just never got up, and that was
never comes back.
Oh my gosh, the scene was so dramatic, but it just happened. So I definitely feel that way. Like, we're part of this film. We're in it.
Yeah, what I loved about this movie, first off, it completely solidified the fact that I would not survive in the mafia. Just I'm like the amount of double crossing and just people getting whacked just out of nowhere. Like, I'm like, I don't remember this from the video games. Just everyone's getting killed. I was stressed. I'm like, okay, I'm not about that life. Like, I don't want to be going to a restaurant and then someone stabs me in the neck, from behind. But anyway, I have to dare say that this movie might be just perfect, because the whole time I'm watching it, even in the slower moments of the film, I was not bored. I was just in it. It was mesmerizing to watch, and like just the acting, how it's directed is beautiful. But what I love the most is the family dynamic between Michael, Sonny, and Don Corleone.
Right.
Because you got Don Corleone. He's very old school but reserved. He's calm. He's very intellectual, but he's not. He's kind of stuck in his own way, so he's not adapting to the world around him. And then you got Sonny, who is adapting to the world around him, but he's very hot-headed, and he's ready to go to war. He's very violent. But then you have Michael, who's that perfect blend of both. And like when he becomes the head of the family, that's when his performance just takes off, because it was incredible to see, like, just how, like, even in scary situations, like when people are disrespecting him, just straight face. You never know what he was thinking. He was very tactical and calculating and violent, incredibly violent. That scene, the baptism scene. He was becoming the Godfather. He's just cold-blooded. Yeah, I renounce Satan as people are getting murdered on his Everyone's getting killed.
But if you think about it, though, with him saying I renounce Satan, is basically him saying, yeah, I renounce every single one of my enemies, is basically what he's saying, tossing them away. But I want to also talk about this, though, too. You mentioned a lot of good points, Alex. I'm going to be honest with you here. And that is the fact that there's... Hold on one sec. Go on ahead and talk.
Oh, so do you remember who else do I love? Luca Brasi? Brasi, that's his name? Luca Brasi? I was the big guy.
Oh, yeah. Right.
I loved him so much. I was sad when he died. No, not Luca. He's just the big, lovable murderer.
Right. My thing was
I loved every actor in this movie.
Every actor was great. What about when he goes over to, when Michael has to leave and go over to Sicily or wherever he was, remember, for that year, because he has to disappear. He goes over there. I love the actors over there, the fluent language that they spoke. It was so, that part of the movie was like they really went there. Like, they really made this as authentic as they absolutely could. And the fact that he married the woman over there, the young girl over there, and the way that they got rid of her. I mean, I'm thinking, okay, he's going to bring her back to America. It's going to be great. and I never noticed the guy, that was supposed to be for Michael, but when they blew that car up and you just see her, I'm like,
well,
really?
Well, here's the thing. As soon as I saw the bodyguard running away, I'm like, okay, that's not a good sign. That's definitely not a good sign, because I've seen enough mob movies where I know. But anytime when you have someone go, "You see, sweetheart, whenever I'm going to go ahead and marry you. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to New York. I'm going to get you the biggest hot dog, and guess what? And then that person's dead." So basically, that's what happens. But I can't help it. Whenever I first saw the film, I laughed my butt off at the part when she blows up. I mean, just because
Did you really?
Yeah, because of because to me it was kind of comical in a way, because I'm going to show you how to drive, and the next thing you know, he blows up.
That's not how you do it.
So that's
I'm gonna try to drive. Boom. He was that bad at it.
The second time watching it and everything, I just took a minute. I'm like, okay, that is actually a painful scene. I just have dark, warped humor, but also too, you also have to think about like this though too, when especially with Kate was supposed to be his love interest, right? And then he comes back into remember this, Alex. I said this: is it just me, or does Michael look like a douchebag? He doesn't message her for X amount of days. Doesn't email. He doesn't. He doesn't
ghost her.
Email.
Right. He ghosts her. And that's it. There's no mail.
Right.
He doesn't.
Ghost her.
Right. So my initial thought was this. To me, I don't think it's kind of like a douchebag move, because of the fact that under the conditions, he's hiding out from these other people that want to kill him. So therefore, who's to say that they can't intercept the mail to where it goes over to Kate? Mm-hmm. So that's one line of thinking that I was thinking. I wasn't thinking, oh, he's just being a total douchebag. But the douchebag part of it was he married somebody, and then, oh, my wife got blown up, so I'm going to go ahead and marry Kate now. That's the douchebag part.
Exactly. That was douchebag. Right. But I do get that. I mean, it's basically he don't want to tell her because you don't want her to know, you know what I mean? It's better for her not to know, so that the feds come around, whatever, she knows nothing. So I get that, he's keeping that from her, like the scene where he's like, don't ask me about my business. When he lies about killing the bastard brother that should have been killed because he beat the hell out of the sister. I mean, oh my God. Well, Sonny went over there, and the way he beat the hell out of that guy, and the fact that the dude goes back and does it again to the sister, whoops her with the belt, and he was responsible for Sonny, right, guys? He was. Yeah. Right. Okay. All right.
Yeah, because here's the thing.
Sonny could get drawn out, and then they can.
Okay.
Get him with the drive-by.
Right, because here's the thing. They knew that the sister was Sonny's weakness, so therefore, so they said, okay, you know what, we're going to use that to our advantage. So therefore, they can draw him out, and of course, that's what happens at the toll booths and everything, where he winds up getting killed. But I felt bad at that moment, though. Like, I started thinking, well, what if Don was dead, and then Sonny was still alive? Would Michael be the head, or we would wind up having Sonny being in charge? And if Sonny was in charge, it would have been just straight force, where basically no questions asked. What you see is what you get. And Michael just is one of those people, like Alex said, and this is the point that I was trying to make earlier, was the fact of how cold Michael actually is, and how he plays it off like, okay, I'm going to let you play me. But you know what? I know you're playing me. So I'm just going to let this keep on riding up until I see a vantage point where I can get rid of you.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I also like what Alex said, though, too, where you actually have Don Corleone, who's actually stuck in his own ways with the olive oil business and doesn't want to go into the heroin business and the drug business and stuff like that. And then you see Sonny, his eyes glow because this is the new generation that's going to take over after Don dies. But it comes to find out, Michael was the one who ended up taking care of him. And at that point, in the extended cut that I watched, was this. Because I actually have the Godfather Epic, which has an extra scene in it. But you're thinking that Don Corleone doesn't want this for Michael. He wants something else for him.
Right.
Well, in the hospital scene, when they go visit somebody, he asks Michael, so after this, what are you going to do? He goes, I'm going to go back to school. He goes, come come to me after you graduate. I have a job for you. So that tells me that the Don was going to probably let Michael take the reins because Sonny is too hot-headed. Fredo's just a pansy.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Too weak. Yeah.
He's definitely weak because when Mo Green winds up slapping him around, he goes, "What did I hear about you slapping my brother around?" "Oh, Michael, I deserved it." Yeah. I'm like, "What?"
Right. I know. But then he curled up when Dad got shot. He was the one that was with the Don when he got shot, right? And he cried over his dad's body when he thought his dad was dying. When I saw that scene, and I'm thinking, wow, he's so weak. I can't believe like he just, just like a little boy, So yeah, he was absolutely a pansy. I think I remember, and there was one scene where, the Don had mentioned that he didn't want Michael in the family business because he was hoping that Michael would become a senator, go to school and become a senator so that he had that, like something, a part of the family that's legit, that looks really good. You know what I mean? Right. So I wasn't expecting for Michael to take over, and I didn't think that he would be good because of the fact that he was a civilian. But when he proves himself, when he goes to the restaurant with the chief of police and the one guy who had, his dad shot, I didn't think he was going to do it. And when he came out of that bathroom, sat down at that table, and as the subway goes by, he fucking kills him, shoots him in the head. And I'm like, wow, okay. He's going to take over.
Great scene. Beautiful scene.
Awesome scene.
No, not beautiful, like terms of murder. I'm not saying murder is beautiful. I'm just saying beautifully performed. Just
absolutely.
Like I love this movie so much, and Al Pacino, right? It's Michael.
Yeah, right.
By far my favorite. I really, you talked about it briefly, but the end when Kate is asking about his business and he just straight up lies to her. Let's give you this one time. You can ask about my business.
Right.
Were you involved? Then like a gangster, he was just like, no. And I'm like,
right.
Damn, cold-blooded Michael. This dude definitely is going to lead the Corleones to profit, to fortune.
Right. But the crazy thing is, though, Kate doesn't even question it. She just goes off of it, and that's it, and walks out. I'm like, wait, you don't even question the dude? You don't?
Right.
That's it?
I was like, I'm totally going to see through that lie. She's like, oh, shoo. Good.
Right.
Okay. Time to fold laundry.
He went to a different country, married a side piece, and then he was going to come back and be like, oh, yeah, I want to marry you. Like, boy,
right.
Like, this dude is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But
like, he adapted quickly to the life.
Yes.
He really did.
Because he had to, because otherwise people will see through weakness and everything and take advantage of him. But I like how there's two things I like here. I like Tom Hagen as the concierge and everything, and giving advice to Michael.
Right.
Then you also have the Don giving advice to Michael at the funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And stuff like that. Because let me tell you something, Michael. People are going to come to you with many faces. They're not going to come as your enemies. They're going to come as your friends.
Right.
And that's when it hit Michael on what to do to make them feel like, they got one over on him. Mm-hmm. And I liked how they did that. And another thing too is I like how Al Pacino is in this movie, and this is not like, hoo-ah, I'm Al Pacino.
Yeah, right. Right.
Talk like this. Right? This is more of your young Al Pacino being smooth, not yelling. And you can be, to be honest with you, I said this in one of the Sopranos episodes, where you can be threatening without having to yell.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because there's one part of this where you have Patsy Parisi, who tells Tony Soprano's mistress, because she won't leave him alone. and he's in this car with her because she's a Mercedes dealer. And he goes, I'm going to tell you this. Either you stay away from Tony, or else you're going to get a piece blown off with your tits. And that's all he said. And he walks out.
Wow.
That would convince me.
Right.
So,
I don't want a piece of anything blown off me.
I'm done.
Right.
I'm
done.
Have quite
No
the bit.
problems.
I'm going
Yeah.
home.
Hey, Brandy.
Exactly.
But, you know, I love how Al plays this off. He's smooth, he's cold-hearted, he's collected. Also, too, I like how Tom is also one of those guys that flies into Hollywood to help the Don out, though, too. He goes, I need you to go to Hollywood. For what? What's going on? And you can tell that Johnny Fontaine is actually the Frank Sinatra character.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so he goes over to Hollywood to actually threaten this Hollywood producer into hiring Johnny Fontaine. And then Michael, basically, what Tom does is he threatens him with the only thing he knows that the guy loves. Because the guy is so stupid and dense. Because he kind of reminds me of Sonny in a way, because of how high strong he is. But he's also stupid. Because now you're giving them ammo to fire with, because now you're showing weakness of what you love.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So therefore, he loved the horse. So what does he do?
Wow. That was when he woke up in that bed. And I'm seeing blood on him, and I'm like, okay, is he shot? Okay, he's moving around. He's not shot. And when he pulls it back and sees his horse, his prize-winning horse, and that scream that he let out, I was like, and that's when I was like, the horse scene, I get it. The horse in the bed, that was it. That was some brutal but dope shit, that scene.
I didn't know that was a real horse head that they used.
Was it really?
That was a real horse head. They used the actual horse head. There was a horse going to the slaughterhouse, so they make dog food. And the director, the producer, one of the people were like, hey, can you give us the head? We got a really cool scene. They originally had a rubber one, but the director, he didn't like the way it looks. So they got an actual horse head. So that is a real horse head sitting in the bed with the dude. And that just made me sad. I don't like it when animals die in movies. I know it's not real. Well, that horse was real.
That one,
that horse is really dead. But that part that would make me do whatever the Don Corleone wants. Like, fine, the dude can be in the movie. Don't
I'm done. You got, but okay. So another thing too is Sonny's also the playboy. So whenever he's actually banging the girl upstairs and Tom is over there laughing his butt off, get this, that child's going to be introduced into the third film.
Oh, really?
So, yes. So there's a little Easter egg in that. So
I heard the third film's fantastic, so I'm looking forward to that.
I've been hearing that, Oh, okay. You're being sarcastic. Yes, I heard the same. I heard it was going to blow us away, blow the first one just, out of the water.
I'll tell you what. There was a certain actress that overacted in that movie, and it's actually the director's daughter that overacts in that movie.
Gosh, really?
Yes. Over dramatic. She just sucks the life out of you.
Wow. I did hear that part 2 was awesome, and I heard today that the way that the story takes place, it gives you 2 storylines to combine the story. I'm really looking forward to part 2. I can't wait. Listen, I love this film. This film was great. The acting, every part of the film, I was on the edge of my seat. Like you said, Alex, earlier, not bored at all. I just, I'm going to watch it again. That's how good it was. I would definitely watch it again. I get it. And I get why they made a video game. It's an awesome story.
They made 2 video games.
There's a second one?
Yep. Because I used to play it. Yeah. I actually played Godfather 2, and you can actually own different territories. And I remember going up to this one guy. Right. He was just joking around, right? Just dancing on the dance floor, acting like he's dancing, but he's really just like bobbing and weaving, and I shot him.
Video game dancing.
Right. So I just went out there and shot him. Thanksgiving when I have his gang of people.
Did you really?
Yeah, I shot him. The guy's like, why did you do that for? I'm like, I thought we were supposed to be shooting people.
I had
video
that
game
bat
response to
in the
being
first
shot.
one.
Oh, what are you
I was going
doing?
around.
What
Right,
you
knocking
doing over
everyone.
here? What you doing? You're not supposed to be dancing. We're supposed to be over here shooting people and taking up territories. What the fuck you doing over here? With you and your Tommy gun over here. Your Macarena looking ass. What you doing? Forget about it.
Oh my gosh. You guys are nuts.
But okay. So there is a part where Kay, remember when they shut the door and Kay's actually peeking in and then you see the door shut? Basically, he shuts the door on Kate and shuts her out. But also, too, as an audience member, as us being in this room with Kate, Michael is also shutting the door on us.
Okay.
How dare he?
After all we did, we spent 3 hours with this guy, and he just shuts the door on us. That might actually be a bit for... Yes, yes, baby, you're definitely gonna have to watch this with me. 3 hours. This movie is a great film. I definitely recommend it. Matter of fact, I have all 3 Godfather DVDs. I'll bring them over. We'll watch The Godfathers. But
she hasn't seen it yet.
The Bay.
Oh,
Brandy hasn't seen it yet.
No, she's never seen The Godfather. And
that's gonna be awesome.
Yes.
Now that I've seen it, I can start judging other people who haven't seen it.
Right.
So if you haven't seen The Godfather, ew.
Yeah, what's wrong with
you haven't lived until you saw The Godfather.
Absolutely.
I
dare
saw
you.
it just a couple weeks ago.
Right.
But let me just tell you this. The Godfather Epic starts out differently than Godfather 1. Basically, you wind up having Godfather 2 in front of it as a prequel film.
Okay.
And then you go in after that, it's about 30 minutes in, and then it changes over to Michael's life.
Okay.
And then after that, it goes back over to Godfather 2.
Okay.
Baby,
because De Niro's playing Marlon Brando's part, right? De Niro's playing the young Godfather. Okay.
Young De Niro, that's right. I was like,
yeah,
Robert De Niro in these movies? And like, yeah, that's right.
Let me tell you this. This is actually, if you think about it, it's like a prequel mixed in with a sequel to this film. It also has like an Indiana Jones kind of vibe where you see the prequel to a movie, which is the second film, and it's actually a sequel to that film. That's the way I actually introduce people to it.
Okay.
But so
Indiana Jones has a prequel?
If you think, okay, there's actually a young Indiana Jones in one of the movies. I forgot which one it is. I think it might be Raiders of the Lost Ark. But there's a young Indiana Jones, and then it flashes back over to present day Indiana Jones, where he's actually in middle age, basically of Indiana Jones. So that's basically how I come off of Godfather 1 and 2, is basically thinking of Indiana Jones in that kind of context. Okay. But you know, I really have to say it. The Godfather 2 is actually one of my favorites. But yes,
I'm looking to watch that one.
Oh yeah, 3 hours. Get ready.
Hey, you saw the Batman with me. Okay? So I know you can handle watching The Godfather and the epicness of The Godfather.
She's gonna love it. She's gonna love it.
Because you don't even feel the runtime for this, to be honest with you, because how invested you are in the characters.
Right. I was upset that it ended.
Same here. I was like, it's done. Like I wanted it to be longer. Like I wanted some more. And then I was like, I can't wait to see part 2. And now knowing how it's gonna take place, I'm all for it because I love Robert De Niro. And I was wondering where he was gonna fit in. Because I knew he was in them, but I was like, okay, what are they gonna do? And now knowing, I'm so excited to see part 2. Like, I can't wait to watch it.
I mean,
yeah. And here's a little trivia thing too. I almost said Michael, but Al Pacino and Robert De Niro never met on set.
Really?
They never met on the set of The Godfather 2.
Wow.
Oh.
So
I guess that makes sense. I guess okay. But that's crazy. You think they would meet at some point? Like, just come to watch.
Yeah, they never actually met each other or anything like that.
Okay.
I like.
So
That's a fun fact. I love fun facts. That is
see, I'm
really quick. What's cool about it is like, okay, so Scarface came out in the 80s. This was made in 72. So to see him as the Godfather in The Godfather, Michael, and then because I was watching him in this and then thinking about him being in Scarface and how awesome he was in Scarface, and it, like still in charge, but a totally different guy. He's just a brilliant actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it made me want to watch like Scarface again.
He goes from pretending to be, or not pretending, but he goes from being Italian to pretending to be Cuban, and I'm like, wow, that is a transition. That is a transition.
Yeah. I just thought I'd bring that up.
Well, here's the thing. Whenever I first saw The Godfather, all I had to represent Al Pacino was Scarface. So I'm thinking that I'm going to have this loud cocaine, gangster version in The Godfather.
You want to go to war?
Right, okay. Exactly.
Okay, Frank. I'm not going to do it, Frank.
Okay, Don Brazzini, we'll go to war.
Okay, Frank. I'm not going to kill you. Hey, kill that piece of shit. But anyways,
you swear we were watching a comedy.
Right.
Yeah, you swear we were watching a comedy, guys.
Exactly.
Any movie can be a comedy if you just imitate it.
Okay, I have another thing for you guys. If you want a good mafia spoof, watch the movie Mafia. It came out in the 90s, late 90s, making fun of mafia movies. It makes fun of The Godfather, Casino, Goodfellas, all those films.
Okay,
I'll look it up.
And there's
even
a
anything
scene.
To do with the video game Mafia, or is it?
No.
Okay,
it's just a spoof. It's just a spoof film.
Okay, Mafia. All right.
Love me some spoofs.
Brandy's favorite movie with Al Pacino is The Scent of a Woman, but she also likes all Al Pacino movies. I'm telling you, you're going to love this movie. It's a classic. It's one of those movies that you have to watch and everything. So, well, anyways, guys, that's going to do it for our Godfather 1 rewatch. Get ready for our Godfather 2 rewatch next week at the same time at 9 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Time. Thanks again, Rossie. Thanks again, Alex. I do appreciate you guys watching this film. I'm glad you love it just as much as I do, so I can be geeked out over the fact that you love this film and hold it into your hearts as much as I do. But I have but one heart, so yes, I just made a pun. So always until next time. I know, right? I'm gonna make you an offer that you can't refuse. So all right, guys. For always until next time, guys. It's been real. It's been fun, and forget about it.